Okay, people. So, yeah, right now we have got Rebel, the director's cut. This is a film from Robert Allen Schnitzer, who co-wrote it with Larry Beinhart and Louis Pastore, helped with additional dialogue. The film was produced by Robert Allen Schnitzer, David Appleton, associate produced by Rick Blumenthal. Joseph Della Court took care of the music. Marty Kumpf is on cinematography. Lorraine Johnson edits the piece. Hair and makeup, we have Tom Brumberger. Our cast. Okay, so Sylvester Stallone as Jerry Savage. His friend Tommy Traffler is played by Tony Page. There's Estelle Ferguson, played by Vickie Lancaster. Tommy's kind of girlfriend, Marlena St. James, is played by Barbara Lee Govan. She's also the bomb expert. Right, there is Ray Brown, played by Dennis Tate. We have Laurie Fisher, played by Rebecca Grimes. William Decker, played by Roy White. James Henderson, played by Henry J. Saunders. Jed Mills is Chuck Bradley. Richard Scott is played by David Orange. Joe Kotler plays the warehouse attendant. That's our main lot of people. Laurie's friends are played by Rusty Cole, Lenny Grudden, Michael Mullins, Annelle Cook, Joseph Dick, and Ann Weatherstone. So our FBI agents are played by George Sheridan, John Hamilton, Arnold Gilbert, Don Strada, Garrett Tinsman, James Johnson, Tony Serratillo. So yes, the gist of the film. In New York in the late 60s, a politically motivated group of students plans bombings of company offices who do business with dictators in middle American countries. But when they contact a known terrorist and bombing specialist, the FBI gets on their track. Dum 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 dum. Now, there is there's more to this film, right? So, what's it say here? Rebel Director's Cut traces its history to 1971 when Robert Schnitzer wrote an original film treatment entitled Seize the Time. Later that same year, he hired writer Larry Beinhart to co-write a screenplay based on that treatment. At the time, Bernhardt was unpublished, but decades later wrote the novel Wag the Dog, right? Seize the Time was produced in 1971 in New York City with Sylvester Stallone starring in the leading role. Schnitzer self-financed the film on a micro budget. It was completed and released in 1973 under a new title, No Place to Hide. The film premiered at the Atlanta Film Festival and was released on home video cassette. It was also broadcast on several local television stations in the US. When Sylvester Stallone's Rocky became a box office success in 1976, Schnitzer recut No Place to Hide and retitled it Rebel. It was reissued on home video cassette and was licensed for domestic US television markets and various overseas distributors. In the year 2000, Schnitzer discontinued all distribution of the film, allowing existing licenses to expire. He planned to reissue the film at some point in the future when all world rights would become available. By 2023, Schnitzer, through his company Movie Corp, remastered the film in 4K high definition and remixed the monaural single channel soundtrack into stereo. This also gave him the opportunity to add some new music and polish the new edition with various touches to correct small things that always bothered him. This new edition, now entitled Rebel Director's Cut, the closest version to his original vision, and has no intentions to make any future edits. So yeah, that, people, is now. Old films always feel kind of different, right? Like the acting can come across rather forced and hammy, but that's how things were done, right? Like you didn't get the more realistic kind of portrayals for a while. Yeah, so I think you always have to look at these type of things in a different vein, you know, which does make it hard because, you know, what didn't play well to you now, it might have been revolutionary at the time, you know, dealing with topics that you don't usually see, right? It's all of these kind of things. I mean, one of the other things, right, because this was re-edited to put a greater emphasis on Stallone, which is a bit confusing because if he's starring in the film, isn't the emphasis kind of on him in general, right? Now, we open up with, it's just like this real close-up on Stallone, kind of just standing there. It's very weird, right? It's a very weird sequence. We then have him walking down the road talking to a goat before he gets picked up by he's hitching. I think that's what you call it, hitching a ride, right? So he gets picked up by a group of people, and in that group is Laurie. The way they do the whole attraction thing is like bonkers. It's kind of crazy. It's just like staring at each other and then being like, ooh, you know, it's like, oh man, it's not very nuanced. But again, at the time, that's how things were done, right? So we have them talking. Then we get this weird sequence of, I guess it's like, I don't know if it's a song meant to be for the war or against the war. It feels like it's more for the war, but I might be misreading it, right? But we get, we get this black and white footage of this guy and his friends singing the song. And then these, you know, scenes of people like marching. That's it, marching. Right, and it's all about Vietnam and all the other wars and all of this kind of thing. We get that throughout the film, these weird kind of cut sequences of either marching or police arresting people. And it does feel very forced. You know, it doesn't feel like a natural transition whenever these things happen, unfortunately. So we have this, and then it's just like all of these people coming together. They're meant to be students. I don't really think they look like students, but that suggests it's meant to be these students coming together to try and, you know, stick it to the man, right? Our dialogue is very clunky, right? we get these weird interactions. There's a bit when oh gosh, what's home? I think it's Roy. Yes, no, Ray. Sorry, stands up and he's just like, I don't want any more like black people dying, right? And then Stallone, Jerry is just like, what about just me dying, people dying? And it kind of he stands up like all confrontational, and then sits down, and you're just like, what? What is this scene? What is this scene? Right? There's a lot of that, right? People, looking like they're gonna confront something, and then they just do not. One of the one of the funny scenes. It's not meant to be funny, but Estelle's in her yard, and Jerry comes back, and she's just like, I was just gonna go to bed. And he's like, why didn't you? And he's like, I was waiting for you. Waiting for me? Why? I wanted to show you something. And then she starts, I mean, I guess you can call it dancing. Right? And it's just like, wait, what are we doing here? It was so odd. It was so odd. I didn't understand it. Right? Oh, man. But yeah, it's just littered with those kind of scenes, right? You've got Jerry's friend Tommy. This is the thing. We've got our bomber Marlena, and she's known as the Black Bomber. And the amount of times Tommy's like, huh, so what's the Black Bomber doing? And you're just like, I mean, like, I don't think she's going to be going, I'm the Black Bomber. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. But their interactions are very, again, clunky and bizarre. Right? Like, yeah. This is an odd film for me. It's an odd film. As I said, it's hard to judge because in 71, right? Again, you weren't having loads of people talking in certain ways about wars and all of this kind of stuff. So was this revolutionary? Was this like, whoa, man, they're really doing it. They're like saying all of this stuff. Like it could have been that, right? It's just after, we've seen so many things now, right? So many things that these kind of things play different, right? Trying to watch it and, it's hard you can't really judge it with today's gaze. But yeah, it is. There's a scene of someone in a building and the lift doors shut, right? Which lift doors do. And you just think, put something to wedge the door, right? But the lift door's shut. And then they're all like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And you're just like, the stairs. Take the stairs. And eventually we have them take their shoes off and then go, oh yeah, I'll take the stairs. But instead of going down, I'll take the stairs going up. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. They run through water at one point, but then when we see them running on the roof, there's no wet footprints. But yeah, it's just the whole present thing. I'm like, it should have all happened when the present is shaken. Like it's, and I don't think you would see someone lying on the floor either at the end. I mean, if all goes down the way it's meant to go down, yeah, no one's gonna be lying there. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah, there's this whole kind of subplot of an informant, which feels real all over the place. It'd be interesting to see that first edit, right? The first cut, to see what was different about the film. And also the original screenplay, like, because they're saying this is the closest to it, but what else was left, you know? Because we need things to really bring, like, this story to life, to make you buy into this whole scenario, these characters, what they're actually fighting for, right? Because like in this film, Stallone, he doesn't have the weird, speech impediment, but he does struggle with emotion. I mean, Stallone always does struggle with emotion, right? But yeah, so that's not going to be any surprise to people. But 1971. It was a different time, people. It was a different time. So I guess, really, if you like an old film, right? If you like looking at things from back then and, I don't know, it could be history, just your kind of sentimentality, right? Rebel Director's Cut is now available for you to own. So yeah, links on the website, people. There we go. A look back to the past. Rebel Director's Cut.